Good morning. Welcome to Morning Motivations with Dan Stratton. I'm Dan Stratton, and it's great to have you with us. Today, we're going to call this short encouragement, we're going to call it higher purpose living. We're going to talk about how we do everything with the attitude in mind that we want to do it purposeful, intentional, and we also want to do a little bit of measuring. We want to measure our results to a certain degree. So when I work with people, I always remind them where there is no vision, the people perish, which is a very powerful scripture in that we look at that where there is no vision. You got to be vision directed. You got to have a purpose. Why are you doing? Why are you doing what you're doing? Because why you're doing it will determine what you do. Why you're doing it will determine how you do it. Why you're doing it will determine when you do it, right? And even where you do it. So all those kinds of, uh, I guess, decisions get made once you kind of decide what you want to do and why you want to do it. And so a higher purpose for me, my higher purpose has been for over 30 years of being someone who supports other people in their vision. That's why I'm even doing this morning, because I want to support you to achieve your goals, to achieve what it is that Yahweh has called you to do, that God has called you to do. And so the way we think about these things, I always tell people you have to have the right inner thoughts. We've talked about that in weeks past. We have to realize that whatever we begin, we're going to be victorious at. We're going to succeed. So I have 5 questions I always use, and those 5 questions are simple. What would you do? If you could do anything, what would you do if you knew you'd succeed? But then we look at our immediate situation. We go, okay, what are our obstacles? That's question number 2. Question number 3 is what's our next smallest doable step? Question number 4 is what are we thankful for, which is really our way of doing an inventory of what we have with us at that moment in time to move things forward. And then I ask you to visualize the end from the beginning, which is to say, what would a miracle look like? Almost every day, somebody comes to me and asks me to agree with them as they're trying to make a big life decision. Yesterday, someone came to me and said that they have they're between jobs right now, and they're trying to determine whether they go back and get another job or they start a business. So I said to them, "Well, what is that business?" He began to share the vision for that business. He had already written some things down, which is a very, very powerful uh, procedure or a process that somebody goes through, but it also shows me that that you're serious and that you're purposeful, so that he's written out what it is he'd like to achieve. So that's where you take those 5 questions and you write them out. But as I said earlier, you must start with a positive, we win, kind of a victorious approach. And then you remind yourself, and these are the simple thoughts that I help people with on a regular basis. We win, let's play. Meaning we're going to be victorious. We're going to do the work to overcome obstacles. We're going to do it one small step at a time. We're going to do it one bite at a time. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So you just work on that. Now, there's another tool along with the 5 questions that is very, very important because a lot of us have bad daily habits. We have time wasting habits. We have money wasting habits. We have, you know, emotion, energy wasting habits where we're considering all the wrong things at the wrong time. So it's important that you begin to do a little bit of an assessment of how you spend your time throughout the day. And if you do that, you actually write down what you did in the course of a week, 7 days. You write down how you spent the time since you woke up, even track your sleep a little bit. And I always like people to, when they do this exercise, all right, I was commuting from 7 to 7:30. I got into work, I picked up my coffee, very detail oriented. as to what you're doing. I organized my desk, whatever it is that you do. And then I worked from such and such a time to such and such a time. And then you come home, commuted back home, but you're doing these things. And then I want you to go through, once you've written out a few days of this, then I want you to begin to assess those, how you spent that time. Was that a good spending of time? Did you spend that time well? Did you spend that time on purpose? So I always mark it with a U, an N, or a P. Unnecessary. I really didn't need to do that. Necessary. I absolutely needed to do it. And then productive. Was it moving me towards my purpose? So unnecessary, necessary, and productive. And the goal over time is to move those unnecessaries off and at least make the things that you're doing necessary. So you're starting to measure things so that you could purpose them intentionally, so that you're doing things on purpose, that you're doing less reactive things, that you're not reacting to your day, but that you're planning your day. You're planning how you're going to spend your time, you're planning how you're going to spend your money, and then you're planning how you're going to spend your energy. Energy. And so those three things are absolutely important to moving yourself towards higher purpose living, where you're actually everything you do in thought, word, and deed is about helping others or achieving something that you think will eventually benefit others, and you move towards those things. So think of it this way: when you wake up, you brush your teeth, necessary. Take a shower, necessary. Get in the car, necessary. You got to get to work. Unnecessary might be the cup of coffee might be unnecessary. Okay. You might think about that for a second because it might be a little counterproductive, just a time filler. Definitely when you're scrolling your phone and you're just mindlessly going from video to video to video, that's definitely a time waster. And also, it causes energy to be dissipated in a way that is unproductive towards your higher purpose. So let's review a little bit. Creating and crafting and writing your vision. What is it that I'm trying to achieve? With me, I'm trying to achieve helping people. So I'm working with Reggie in the Mississippi prison system. We're currently helping him to write his vision, write his mission, write his core values. I'm currently working with Pastor Kelvin Box in Hebronville because he is a core member of my team. And I want to see his life stronger. I want to see him better supported because he's really what brought me into Cuba, where we're working with Pastors Yoel and Heidi down there. And so every day I'm helping them to visualize, imagine what a miracle looks like, but then that's not enough. In order to move something from necessary to productive, you've got to write it down. You've got to think about how it communicates to others, because just as important as we win, that attitude of victory, the second thought I want you to have on your mind is we're all called to do something great, but no one can do it alone. We all need help. We all need a team, right? And a lot of times I have to remind people, which is my third simple thought, there are no second class citizens, because a lot of people at this stage, they don't have habits. So they don't want to do this time management tool where unnecessary, necessary, and productive. They really don't want to go through the emotional lift of starting to live a purpose filled life, a life where they can make an impact, leave a legacy, you know, help people. So it takes me, I have to tell them there's no such thing as a second class citizen, which simply means we all could do that. Now, imagine that when you work in a prison. It's so important to get people to believe that they're valuable. It's so important to believe that they're not just necessary people, but they are productive people, because they feel pretty unnecessary. They're locked up, they're pushed away from society. In a lot of ways, society has disqualified them and neglected them. But we are told in scripture to go to visit those in jail because they're still valuable. They still have purpose. They still are more than necessary. They can be productive. So it's very, very important that once you start on this unnecessary, necessary, productive journey, one of the things you're going to do early on is every person you meet is going to be more valuable to you. They're going to they're going to be valuable because you can learn from them. They're going to be valuable because you can pour life into them. And then that principle is what you sow, you shall reap. If you're giving, you shall receive. If you're helping, you shall receive help. So let's do another quick review. So the three things, three simple thoughts. We win. Start just right now. Establish the fact that you're going to be successful. We're all called to do something great, but we need a team. That's why we write things down to make it simple, make it plain, make it understandable so other people can go with it. Third thing, there are no second-class citizens. All right. So that means don't disqualify yourself because you don't think you're smart enough, don't think you're strong enough, that you have enough energy. Don't do it. Just let's get into the process, start doing these exercises. The way that you get stronger is just one good decision at a time, one good habit at a time, moving things from unnecessary to necessary and from necessary to productive. Very, very important. So the fourth thing I want you to do, and that is the fourth simple thought in the book that I wrote, Very Few Fathers, and you can get a copy of this book by just asking for it, and we'll send you an email copy of it, is give yourself to your gift. Let's begin to make necessary steps to develop your writing. Let's make necessary steps to develop your reading comprehension, to develop your expertise in an area of interest through reading, through interacting with people, and start really giving yourself to the development of your passion, the development of what you're good at, what you like to do, what you've been successful at in the past that maybe you've let it down. And so these things are the beginning building blocks towards this. There's a lot in here. Please review this again. I gave you 5 questions. I gave you 4 simple thoughts, and I gave you an exercise. Unnecessary, necessary, and productive. Thanks for tuning in to Morning Motivations with Dan Stratton. I hope this blessed you. I hope it helps you. And here's what I'm asking of you. Here's my ask. Communicate with us. Let us know you're out there. And there's more to it than just a morning motivation. Let's get started. Let's get your vision written. Let's begin to build a team. But first of all, do the exercises. Give yourself to your gift.